Level 1. Intern. L4 New Grad. The offer arrives in October. $115,000 base. You do the math on your loans. The number wins. Barely. You call home that evening. Your father asks what Amazon makes. You say everything. He says, like Walmart? You say yes, but also no. He says, that's great. Neither of you is quite sure. First morning, Day 1 building, Seattle. Bezos named it on purpose. You don't know that yet. You expected the lobby to feel significant. It just feels like a lobby. First team meeting, week 1. You ask when the slide deck is due. Your manager blinks. We don't use slides. There is a 6-pager on the shared drive. Reading period starts in 8 minutes. You have never seen this format. You skim page 1. The meeting opens. The VP's first question is on page 4. You didn't get there. The meeting had already started. You were on page 1. $22 an hour. Intern. Seattle studio. $2,400 a month. After rent and taxes, you are negative. Before groceries. Your friend took the state agency job. She is saving more than you. You do not mention this. You ask what the 6-pager was about. Your manager says, a post-mortem. The product shipped 2 years ago. Nobody needed your slides. Nobody was ever going to. You are not behind. You are in a different language. You learn the format. By month 2, you finish page 4. You are invited to the next meeting. Level 2, L5 Senior. The offer said $145,000 total comp. Year 1 actual, $112,000 base, plus 5% of your RSU grant. You did the comp math wrong before signing. Your roommate manages marketing at a nonprofit. She tracks her savings on a whiteboard. She is ahead. You do not tell her any of this. OLR arrives in Q4, Organizational Leadership Review, Amazon's annual internal ranking. The label least effective is never posted. You feel it in the meeting invitations. A name disappears from the planning thread. The room closes around the gap. Nobody mentions the gap. The ranking isn't posted anywhere. You feel it anyway. The person with the label isn't let go. She transfers to a different team. That team dissolves 4 months later. The distance between those two events is precise. It just doesn't look precise. After OLR, your manager asks about visibility. What visibility means is never defined. You start using the word in one-in-ones. Your first performance review says, meets bar. 2 words. You spend a week deciding if that's good. It is. Barely. You start logging meeting invitations. A private spreadsheet. You tell no one. Year 3, the RSU cliff corrects. 40% vest. The math finally works. You stay. Level 3, L6, Senior Bar Raiser. The title finally fits. Then Amazon adds a new designation. You are now a bar raiser. Certified veto on any hire, any team, anywhere in the company. Power with no authority. Accountability with no chain. Useful to everyone except your own manager. A VP wants a candidate hired. You run the loop. You reject the hire. The VP calls your skip level. Your skip level says nothing to you. You were correct about the hire. You are also off that team's planning cycle. No explanation is given. You can veto anyone, except the people above you. L6 base cap, around $160,000. RSUs vest at 40% now. Total comp clears $290,000 on paper. What you're receiving is back payment. For the 2 years you almost quit, Amazon paid you for your patience. That is different from paying you for your work. Being bar raiser means constant interview loops, 3 some weeks. For orgs you'll never work in. Amazon pays you to make one final call. The call it won't let you make. Not in your own role. That is not coincidence. That is the design. Your partner asks about a vacation. You say you'll check OP2 first, the annual planning cycle. They don't ask again that year. The word promotable arrives in a 1-in-1. Nothing changes for 7 months.
Level 4, L7, Principal.
the level most L6s don't cross, a different category. At L7, OLR tracks you differently, self-managing they call it. What that means? Nobody is watching. But you are still on the list. That is not freedom. It is a trap shaped like trust. RSU refresh, $400,000 over 4 years. You buy a house. Mortgage, $6,200 a month. You are the wealthiest you've ever been. You are not liquid. Paper stack, concrete obligation. Every meeting you lead opens in silence. 20 minutes. The room reads your narrative first, then you speak. You used to find the silence unnerving. Now you watch the SVP's face on page 3. The eyebrow. She has already decided. You write the document anyway. You are told you have more scope, said warmly in a 1-to-1. You wait for headcount. It doesn't come. More scope? Same 7 people, more exposure. This is called growth. Scope expands. Headcount does not. Your daughter's school calls about a conference. You ask your EA for a slot. The first available is 6 weeks out. At dinner, your daughter says it's fine. She means it. That is the sentence you carry. You are named to a cross-org working group. It briefs VP level. Your 6-pager leaves your building. For the first time. Level 5, L8, Director. Your name is in org charts now, ones people actually read. Every metric you own has been seen, by Andy Jassy. You don't know which ones. That is not an accident. Visibility to someone you've never met. The metric runs before the introduction. You run OP1 and OP2 each year. 6 months of annual planning. The document goes through 4 revisions. You author none of them. Your name is on the cover. Total comp, $750,000 to $1.2 million. Depends on refresh timing. You know what every direct report earns. The gap isn't as wide as it should feel. You now know what your manager earns. That gap is wider. You do not mention it. An escalation lands in your inbox. 1 character, question mark, forwarded from 2 levels above. No context, no deadline. Someone senior noticed something. The question mark means you have 4 hours. It is not a question. It is a clock. You develop a reflex, reading what is not written. In emails, in the silence between sentences. It becomes involuntary. Your father's retirement party is on a Friday. You send flowers. Your mother calls to say they were lovely. You hear everything in her tone. She knew before she called. She said it anyway. You are invited to brief the VP. Not attend, brief. Level 6, VP, L10. Fewer than 400 in the company. You are not on the S team. You brief the S team. That distinction is your whole career now. S team, Jassy and his directs. 12 people, maybe 15. You prepare what they read. You answer questions they didn't know to ask. You are present when the decision is made, not when it is confirmed. That distance feels small. It is not small. You brief the room. You don't run it. Your comp is in the global top 0.01%. It no longer functions as information. You don't have a salary. You have an abstraction. The currency is calendar time now. 30 minutes with the right person. That is the number. A VP from another division retires at 51. The LinkedIn post gets 22,000 likes. 3 months later, his replacement runs his meetings. Sits in his chair. Involuntary standing agenda. The calendar absorbed him. Like a document into a shared drive. You return to your 6-pager. You cannot say what you want next. This is new. You have always known what you wanted. That knowledge was the engine. Now the engine runs without a destination. Your children know you work at Amazon, the way they know weather, a condition, not a choice. One of your 6-pagers goes to S team, without revision. Someone calls it a win. It feels like being noticed. Level 7, SVP, S team. The room is real. The air is different. You have been here a year. The silence at the top of the table. You know this silence. You first felt it as a director, watching someone else's eyebrow. Now the room watches yours. A new SVP joins the S team. Early 30s, came from outside. On her first day, she reads slowly, a 6-pager, in front of everyone. 3 questions nobody had asked before. The room adjusts. You watch it happen. You think, that's what I looked like. You're not sure that's true. You decide it doesn't matter. Compensation is a quarterly summary now. Your CFO mentions it once a year. The number is administrative. The currency is 15 minutes. Who gets access to your calendar? That is the number. The leadership principles are on every badge. At this level, you don't cite them. You are cited against them. When someone invokes disagree and commit, they invoke the version you embody. The document is fixed. Its meaning moves. A new L4 arrives. First meeting, 6-pager on the shared drive. Reading period begins. You watch her on page 1. The questions start. You say nothing. You remember page 4. You let the meeting run. You have become the eyebrow. You have optimized into a system. It no longer requires you to feel surprised. That is not the same as satisfied. Same format, different name at the top.